In the year 2142, humanity had reached the outer edges of the solar system, boldly venturing into the depths of space. It was during one of these exploratory missions that I stumbled upon something beyond comprehension: the Soulforge, a nightmarish structure drifting in the void. My journey began aboard the Starship Endeavour, a vessel equipped with the latest technology and a crew eager to uncover the mysteries of the universe. As we approached the uncharted region of the cosmos, sensors began to pick up anomalous readings. That defied explanation. The Soulforge appeared on our radar as a massive, dark silhouette against the starry backdrop. It seemed to pulsate with a sinister energy, emitting faint signals that hinted at the presence of life or something resembling it. My fellow crew members were apprehensive, with Captain Reynolds voicing the concern that resonated with us all. We need to proceed with caution. Whatever the thing is, it's not natural. Despite the unease that gripped the crew, curiosity overpowered fear. We decided to investigate, sending a shuttle to the Soulforge, which loomed larger as we drew closer. The exterior was adorned with grotesque carvings, resembling twisted faces and writhing forms. It was as if the very fabric of the structure had been woven from the nightmares of the cosmos. A shudder ran through me as I realized that this place felt sentient, alive in some horrific way. Upon docking, we discovered a dark corridor leading into the heart of the Soulforge. The atmosphere was thick with a palpable dread, and my instincts screamed to turn back. Yet, driven by a mixture of scientific ambition and morbid curiosity, we pressed on. Each step echoed ominously, and the walls seemed to pulse as if breathing, whispering secrets that only the void could understand. As we ventured deeper, the environment shifted. Shadows flickered along the walls, and strange sounds echoed, resembling distant cries and eerie whispers. My crew, once filled with excitement, grew increasingly unsettled. It became clear that this place was not just a relic of an unknown civilization. It was a prison, a factory of souls, where the very essence of beings was forged and transformed into something unrecognizable. The deeper we went, the more I realized that the Soulforge was a mirror reflecting our own fears and desires. Each room we entered revealed twisted remnants of what once was, and I began to understand that we were not merely explorers. We were intruders trespassing in a realm that demanded respect and caution. Little did I know, our presence would awaken forces that had long been dormant, setting the stage for a conflict that would test the very limits of our humanity. As we navigated the haunting corridors of the Soulforge, the crew's personalities began to emerge more vividly against the backdrop of our impending doom. I was the ship's science officer, driven by an insatiable curiosity and a desire to uncover the mysteries of the universe. My fascination with the unknown often led me to prioritize discovery over caution, a characteristic that would soon prove perilous. Captain Reynolds, a seasoned leader with years of experience in deep space exploration, epitomized the balance between caution and ambition. His stern demeanor masked a profound sense of responsibility for his crew, and it was evident that he bore the weight of our choices heavily on his shoulders. We need to be on high alert, he often reminded us, his voice a grounding force amid the chaos. Alongside us was Dr. Leela Chen, our ship's xenobiologist, whose expertise in alien life forms made her invaluable. Her initial excitement turned to dread as we delved deeper into the Soulforge. This place isn't just a structure. It resonates with a kind of life we cannot comprehend, she warned, her voice trembling as we encountered more of the twisted, organic designs adorning the walls. Finally, there was Marcus, our engineer, whose bravado often masked his fear. He attempted to lighten the mood with jokes, but each laugh felt hollow in the oppressive atmosphere of the Soulforge. As the tension mounted, it became clear that the bonds between us would be tested. The deeper we plunged into the darkness, the more we relied on each other, facing not only the horrors of the Soulforge, but also our own inner demons. The interplay of our personalities and fears created a complex dynamic, one that would shape our decisions as we confronted the unknown. In a place where reality twisted and turned, the true nature of our characters would emerge, revealing whether we would rise to the occasion or succumb to the horrors that awaited us. As we ventured deeper into the Soulforge, the atmosphere grew increasingly oppressive, the air thick with a sense of foreboding. Each room we entered revealed more grotesque artifacts, twisted sculptures, and remnants of beings long lost. It was becoming painfully clear that this place thrived on despair, feeding off the very essence of those who had entered before us. My initial curiosity began to morph into icy dread. The first major conflict arose when we stumbled upon a chamber filled with shimmering orbs, each containing a swirling mass of light and shadow. Dr. Chen, entranced by their beauty, reached out to touch one. This could be a form of life, a way to communicate, she exclaimed, her eyes wide with wonder. I felt an instinctual urge to warn her, but my voice was lost in the overwhelming allure of the chamber. Leela, wait! I shouted, but it was too late. As she made contact, the orb pulsated violently, and a cacophony of anguished screams filled the air. The chamber shook, and shadows began to stretch and writhe, coalescing into monstrous forms that loomed menacingly. The light in the orbs flickered, revealing the faces of tormented souls trapped within. The crew erupted into chaos. "Get back," Captain Reynolds commanded, drawing his sidearm. Marcus's bravado vanished, replaced by genuine fear as he scrambled to find a way out. "We need to retreat," he yelled, but the shadows surged forward, blocking our escape. As the conflict escalated, our unity began to fray. Fear and panic threatened to tear us apart. "We need to stand together," I shouted, trying to rally the crew against the encroaching darkness, but the fear in their eyes reflected my own. The Soulforge was not just a physical structure. It was a manifestation of our deepest fears and insecurities. In that moment, I realized we weren't merely fighting external forces. We were grappling with our own weaknesses. Dr. Chen's fascination had drawn her into danger, and Marcus's attempt at humor had crumbled under pressure. Captain Reynolds, despite his authority, appeared uncertain, torn between the instinct to fight and the need to protect his crew. As the shadows closed in, I understood that our survival depended on overcoming not just the horrors of the Soulforge, but also the internal conflicts that had begun to surface. We had to confront our fears together if we had any hope of escaping this horrifying place. The Soulforge was testing us, and the true struggle was just beginning. As the conflict within the Soulforge intensified, various subplots began to unfold, adding layers of complexity to our situation. One significant subplot involved Dr. Leela Chen, whose fascination with the unknown morphed into a deep internal struggle. Torn between her scientific curiosity and the terrifying reality of the Soulforge, she found herself at a crossroads. The moment she touched the orb, she experienced a vision, a glimpse into the lives of the souls trapped within. This revelation ignited a fierce battle within her. Should she seek to understand and possibly save these souls, or prioritize the safety of her crew? Meanwhile, Marcus struggled with his identity as the ship's engineer. His initial confidence began to erode in the face of overwhelming fear. In a moment of vulnerability, he confided in me about his past, a childhood filled with abandonment and a constant struggle for validation. The Soulforge seemed to mirror his fears, amplifying his insecurities. This subplot added depth to his character, revealing that his bravado had always masked deeper emotional wounds. Captain Reynolds faced his own demons as well. His leadership was tested not just by the external horrors, but also by the doubts that crept into his mind. Memories of past missions haunted him, decisions that led to loss and failure. As the shadows of the Soulforge closed in, he wrestled with the fear of repeating those mistakes. The pressure of keeping the crew safe weighed heavily upon him, complicating his ability to lead effectively. These intertwining subplots revealed the vulnerabilities of each character, showcasing how the Soulforge not only challenged our physical survival, but also forced us to confront our internal conflicts. The deeper we delved into this horrifying place, the more we realized that our external struggles were inextricably linked to our inner battles, shaping our fates in ways we had yet to understand. The turning point came unexpectedly as we found ourselves cornered in the Chamber of Orbs. Shadows writhed around us, their swirling forms echoing our fears and insecurities. Just when it seemed we would be overwhelmed, Leela, still reeling from her vision, spoke out. "Wait, there's something in the orbs, something we can use." Her voice, filled with an urgency I hadn't heard before, cut through the chaos. "What are you talking about?" I shouted, trying to keep my eyes on the encroaching darkness. "We need to get out of here." "No, listen to me," Leela insisted, her gaze fixed on the pulsating orbs. "Each one of these represents a soul, a memory. If we can connect with them, we might be able to harness their energy against the shadows." Captain Reynolds, initially skeptical, saw the desperation in her eyes. "If there's even a chance it could work, we have to try," he said, his voice steadying as he took charge. "Marcus, can you rig something up to interact with the orbs?" Marcus, still shaken, nodded slowly. "I can try to create a conduit, but if this goes wrong, we could unleash something far worse." His fear was palpable, but the determination in his eyes suggested he was willing to face it. As Marcus hurriedly began to rig the equipment, I felt a surge of hope mixed with dread. The shadows pulsated with hunger, seemingly aware of our intentions. Leela, with a mix of courage and fear, stepped closer to the nearest orb. "We have to believe in this," she said, her voice trembling. "These souls deserve to be freed." With time slipping away, we formed a circle around Leela, our hands joined. I felt the warmth of their support and the weight of our shared fear. "On the count of 3, we connect with the orbs," Reynolds instructed, his voice steady. "We do this together." As we counted down, the shadows lunged toward us, but we stood firm, united in our resolve. 1, 2, 3. We reached out, feeling the energy of the orbs surge through us, intertwining our fates with the souls trapped within. In that moment, it felt as if we were not just fighting for our survival. We were reclaiming the lives of those lost to the Soulforge. The turning point lay not only in our struggle against the dark, but in the realization that our unity was our greatest weapon. The aftermath of our desperate attempt to harness the energy of the orbs was nothing short of surreal. As we connected with the souls, a blinding light erupted from the chamber, momentarily dispelling the shadows. The cacophony of anguished cries transformed into a symphony of liberation, echoing through the Soulforge. We felt a surge of power that was both exhilarating and terrifying. However, the consequences of our actions became apparent almost immediately. While the shadows retreated, the energy we had unleashed began to take a toll on our bodies and minds. Leela collapsed to the ground, gasping for breath, her connection to the orbs having drained her vitality. I saw them," she whispered, tears streaming down her face. "They're free, but it took so much." Captain Reynolds quickly knelt beside her, his expression a mix of relief and fear. "We did what we had to do, Leela. You saved us," he reassured her, but his voice wavered. The shadows had retreated, but the balance we had disrupted loomed over us like a dark cloud. Marcus, now visibly shaken, faced the reality of what we had unleashed. Did we just make things worse? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. What if they return? What if we awaken something we can't control? As we gathered ourselves, a heavy silence settled over the group. The thrill of survival was overshadowed by the weight of our actions. We had escaped the immediate danger, but the implications of our choices hung in the air like an unspoken curse. Each crew member grappled with their internal reactions: fear, guilt, and a deep sense of responsibility for the souls we had encountered. The Soulforge had not only tested our limits, it had irrevocably changed us. As we made our way back through the twisted corridors, we understood that our journey was far from over. The consequences of our decisions would haunt us, and the haunting echoes of the Soulforge would serve as a constant reminder of the thin line we had walked between discovery and destruction. As we traversed the eerie corridors of the Soulforge, the harrowing experience had a profound effect on each member of the crew, pushing us toward both personal and collective growth. The encounter with the souls trapped within the orbs forced us to confront our fears and insecurities, leading to a metamorphosis that was both unsettling and liberating. Dr. Leela Chen emerged as a beacon of resilience. Though she had initially been driven by curiosity, her experience of connecting with the souls revealed a deeper understanding of her own emotional landscape. The visions she experienced, memories of the lost, had awakened a fierce determination to advocate for those who could not speak for themselves. We have to ensure that their stories are told, she declared, her eyes alight with purpose. This newfound mission transformed her from a passive observer into an active protector of the lost, giving her a sense of empowerment that she had never felt before. Captain Reynolds, too, found clarity amidst the chaos. The experience forced him to confront his past failures and the weight of responsibility he carried as a leader. He realized that true leadership meant being vulnerable and allowing his crew to share in decision-making. I've often tried to shield you from the burdens of our choices, he admitted during a tense moment of reflection. But we're stronger together. I need you all. This openness fostered a sense of unity among us, reinforcing the bonds that had begun to fray under pressure. Marcus, who had struggled with his insecurities, found courage in the camaraderie that blossomed within the group. No longer just the comic relief, he stepped up to take on pivotal tasks, channeling his fear into determination. I won't let fear control me anymore, he vowed, his voice steady. This shift marked a crucial turning point for him, allowing him to embrace his role as an engineer and a valued member of the team. As we prepared for the next phase of our journey, I felt a palpable change in the air. The darkness of the Soulforge still loomed, but we faced it with a newfound understanding of ourselves and each other. We were not merely individuals caught in a nightmarish scenario. We had become a cohesive unit, ready to confront whatever lay ahead. The experience had stripped away our faults, revealing the strength that resided within us all, and we were ready to face the ultimate challenge together with a sense of unity and purpose. We stood at the precipice of the next phase of our harrowing journey through the Soulforge. The echoes of our past experiences resonated within us, shaping our resolve as we prepared for the ultimate confrontation with the darkness that still lingered. The first step was to devise a plan that would allow us to navigate the treacherous landscape ahead while protecting one another. Captain Reynolds, now embodying the essence of collaborative leadership, called for a meeting. We need to understand the nature of the shadows we faced earlier, he began, his tone steady. Leela, can you analyze the energy we encountered? We need to know what we're up against if we're going to confront it again. Leela nodded, her determination sharpened by her earlier experiences. I believe the orbs contained remnants of emotional energy. If we can tap into that energy, We might be able to use it against the shadows, she proposed, her mind racing with possibilities. But we have to be careful. If we unleash too much, it could backfire. As the plan took shape, Marcus and I began gathering materials from our surroundings. We scavenged remnants of the machinery that had been scattered throughout the Soulforge, determined to create a device capable of channeling and amplifying the energy from the orbs. This will require precision, Marcus said, his hands steady as he worked. If we can harness this power, it could turn the tide in our favor. In preparation, we also took the time to address our internal struggles. Each member of the crew shared their fears and hopes, creating an atmosphere of trust and vulnerability. This openness strengthened our resolve, allowing us to confront not only the external darkness, but also the internal demons that had surfaced during our ordeal. As we neared completion of our device, the tension in the chamber thickened. Shadows flickered at the edges of our vision, a constant reminder of the threat that loomed. Yet, I felt a sense of hope blossoming amidst the dread. We were no longer just explorers, we had become warriors, ready to reclaim our narrative against the oppressive forces of the Soulforge. As we completed our preparations, the time had come to confront the shadows once and for all. We stood together, breathing in unison, fortified by our shared experiences and the strength we had discovered within ourselves. The climax was imminent, and with our hearts aligned, we were ready to face whatever awaited us in the depths of the Soulforge. The moment of truth arrived as we activated our makeshift device, a contraption made from the remnants of the Soulforge's machinery and the energy we had harnessed from the orbs. The air crackled with tension as we stood shoulder to shoulder, each of us acutely aware of the stakes involved. Shadows danced along the walls, swirling in anticipation, as if sensing the challenge we were about to present. On my signal, we channeled the energy towards the shadows, Captain Reynolds commanded, his voice steady yet urgent. We need to focus and let our emotions guide the energy. As we prepared, I felt a surge of fear and determination coursing through my veins. The shadows loomed closer, their forms shifting and writhing, a tangible embodiment of our collective fears. With a deep breath, I steadied myself, remembering the journey that had led us to this moment, the vulnerability we had shared, the strength we had found in one another. Now, Reynolds shouted, and we focused our energy into the device. A brilliant beam of light erupted from the contraption, illuminating the chamber and momentarily dispersing the shadows. The light felt alive, a manifestation of our united will, and I could sense the souls we had freed rallying alongside us, their energy fueling our resolve. But the shadows were relentless. They surged forward, attempting to engulf us once more. "Hold your ground," Leela yelled, her voice cutting through the chaos. We pressed on, pouring every ounce of our collective strength into the beam of light. The shadows recoiled, shrieking in anger as the light pushed back against their encroachment. Just when it seemed we might prevail, the shadows converged into a colossal form, a terrifying amalgamation of our deepest fears. It towered over us, its presence suffocating. "You cannot escape," it bellowed, echoing with the voices of the lost. "You are bound to this place." In that moment of despair, I remembered the stories of the souls we had encountered. "We're not alone," I cried, feeling the connection to the energy we had liberated. "We have their strength with us." We channeled our thoughts, memories, and emotions into the light. The beam intensified, fueled by our resolve and the spirits of those who had suffered within the Soulforge. With one final push, we unleashed the light in a brilliant explosion, a manifestation of hope and unity that shattered the oppressive darkness. The colossal shadow let out a deafening roar before dissipating into a cascade of shimmering particles, echoing the cries of freedom. As the light enveloped the chamber, the oppressive atmosphere lifted. We had faced our fears, united in purpose, and emerged victorious from the darkness of the Soulforge. Exhausted yet exhilarated, we stood together, knowing we had not only saved ourselves, but also honored the souls that had guided us through the void. Our harrowing journey through the Soulforge taught us invaluable lessons about resilience, unity, and the power of confronting our fears. Each crew member emerged transformed, having faced not only the darkness of the Soulforge, but also the shadows within themselves. We learned that true strength lies in collaboration and vulnerability, and that even in the face of overwhelming odds, hope can flourish. As we left the haunting depths behind, we carried with us the memories of the souls we had freed, forever changed by the experience and committed to honoring their legacy through our future endeavors. Years later, I found myself reflecting on that fateful mission aboard the Endeavor. The experience had inspired a new initiative aimed at responsible exploration of the cosmos, prioritizing the ethics of discovery and the respect for lost lives. Dr. Leela Chen emerged as a leading voice in xenobiology, advocating for the rights of sentient beings, while Captain Reynolds became a mentor to young explorers. Marcus and I worked on technologies that ensured the safety of future missions. The Soulforge remained a haunting memory, a reminder of our journey into darkness and the light we found within ourselves and each other. As we venture into the unknown, let us remember the lessons learned from the depths of the Soulforge. We must approach exploration with humility, ensuring that our curiosity does not come at the expense of those who came before us. Advocate for ethical practices in science and exploration, and recognize the interconnectedness of all beings. Share stories of resilience and unity, inspiring future generations to face their fears and embrace collaboration. Together, we can honor the lost and ensure that our journeys enrich the cosmos while safeguarding its mysteries. Let us forge a future driven by respect, compassion, and understanding.